into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, I'm Stef Z. Tweet me during the show at I am Stef Z with an F. We'd love to get this conversation going.
Hello, friends. I'm Ashley. Tweet me at Ashley_Chapman or the Ashley Chapman on Instagram and Facebook.
Hi everyone. Definitely tweet me at JC
Hello
Rubio.
everyone. I got marbles of wealth.
I just have that energy. I'm sorry. Hey, what's up, guys? It's JC. Follow me or tweet at me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter.
So this episode.
Yes. Wow.
What
happened?
So first off, we get the last week leading into the boardroom scene, and then without missing a beat, we're in the boardroom scene.
I loved that opening.
Perfect.
It was so perfect, and again, it feeds into that movie-esque feel.
Yes,
it was like I got up and had to go to the bathroom, and I came back, and it boom. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
A very long bathroom break.
Were we satisfied with? I thought there could be a possible drop off because the pilot was so spectacular, but did not miss a beat. Same pacing. Actually, Sam Esmail directed this episode himself as well. So
and wrote it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they. You mentioned something that you hope you see.
I hope to see this every week, and that's what I'm getting to. That they're in a boardroom. It's 11 lawyers and Tyrell.
Right.
Yeah, I said his name right. That just didn't sound right to me.
I said Tyrese during the thing. I messed it all up. It's my fault.
Yes.
I knew there was confusion with the name.
My fault.
And then
I'll take it.
Tyrell offers him a chance to be head of cybersecurity for Evil Corp.
Do we think he knows what Elliot did?
Yes, we get to that.
I think he did it. I think he more than knows what Elliot did. I think he choreographed it.
Very well said,
Really?
Steph. I agree. Yes, he had he planned this and bringing them in. But does that blow the whole theory of Elliot being Tyrell?
Yes. Because Tyrell has interacted with enough people in this series that it seems unlikely he doesn't exist. Because we're in that we're in that world where does this person actually exist? Which I love that when you're watching a show and you can just be like, like the drug dealer we're talking about, or the supplier we're talking about later. I had a brief moment. I was like, do you think he exists? He might not exist. He might just be another. He just might be another version of what Elliot wants to be or thinks he is.
Yeah.
But what I did like about this boardroom scene is the title card. The title card, Mr. Robot, on an empty boardroom, and then we cut out and we see Universal Presents, and we get movie titles over top of no standard regular like intro. To movie titles over what's happening in the action, and now he's in the car. Now he's in the car, and these guys are giving him his card. If you ever want to talk to Tyrell again, do this, and they make some Oliver Stone comments. Yeah. And I hope every week we do this.
Yeah. I think that was a little bit, like, clearly he knows how to get in touch with him. He's working for a company that works for them. So that was a little bit over the top for me. No one else felt that at all? It was like, get in touch with him here. Like, clearly there's a way he can get in touch with him. I know Tyrell's not supposed to ask anybody to work for him. It's like,
collusion.
Yeah, but I feel like that was a little bit, like, he knows how to get in touch with him if he wants him.
Which, well, I think that sort of feeds back into the are they real? Because remember when they were getting on the subway with what's the character?
Darlene.
He asked, like, does she see them?
Yeah.
So that kind of feeds back into are these real conversations? It's and the guy he made the call me Mr. X. So like that seemed very kind of anonymous and just kind of sort of eerie mystery almost like. So I think that's sort of feeding into like, are these people really real? Are they there? Are they not? So
I like the fact that what you just said, Steve, the fact that Oliver Stone, who's known for his conspiracy theory types of movies and whatnot, and the overall paranoia that I felt. This episode was all about paranoia and Elliot.
Paranoia will destroy you.
Nah.
Nice.
See what you did there.
I like that.
See that? You like that? Took it all back around.
Put that on a pillow.
Yeah. And I think that Tyrell, like, it's just so. Of course, he set it up because he was like, "I'm going to be I'm the acting CTO." So he prevailed as well. Yeah, this all happening. So I feel like there's a way bigger plan going on in Evil Corp than we know.
Yeah,
there's definitely a bigger plan there. I think I could see him being a bigger architect of all of it.
Yeah, I think he does.
Or complicit in whatever's happening in Elliot's head that he's orchestrating that we don't know yet. Either or, that's my speculation as of this moment, and we're just gonna move. We're all gonna learn.
Yeah,
I think gonna learn as we move forward.
I think Tyrell and Mr. Robot are in cahoots.
Okay,
but are we sure Mr. Robot is real though?
I don't know if he's real, but I think that the thing that made me, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the thing that made me question more so whether he was real or not was the video that we see Gideon show Elliot, because it's clear they disguise his voice, but it's enough that you know it's Christian Slater's voice.
But just like how we hear Evil Corp when everyone says it, that could be part of, because we're seeing this through an unreliable narrator.
So Elliot's just hearing it that way. It's on him. I like what they did there.
I know, because
I know it's so.
And they're doing it so well, and we're not going to harp too much on whether Mr. Robot exists or not
last week.
Yeah. But they're doing it so well that if 3-4 weeks down the line, it just becomes evident that Mr. Robot's actually real. We can go, they're just messing with us. That was awesome.
Well, by the end of this show, I have a theory. I don't think that Christian Slater is real.
Like the actor.
No, Mr. Robot, whatever. Well, I know last time you thought Mr. Robot was the group. Yep. So I'm clear that's not the case.
That's very clear. I was incorrect.
So I was just being clear that you know what I meant. I feel like, and again, I don't want to jump there yet, but I feel that it was very clear what was happening at the end.
It's arguable at this point.
Yeah.
So Elliot makes it to work, and everyone's just talking about how the old CTO got fired, and what that means for Allsafe. He already knows that means Allsafe's gonna go under. And Gideon says he's gonna give him a raise, and then they watch this video that he has not seen.
Which is a little bit. Where I went with that was that he created the video before he put his computer in the microwave, and we just didn't see it. I mean, is that possible?
That makes sense. That's the part I missed. That he hacked Tyrell, and Tyrell's hack was so easy that he was like, "This is orchestrated. This is creepy," and he microwaved his computer.
Right. So he wouldn't have microwaved his computer. I mean, but yes, he's doing drugs. He's doing drugs differently in this episode, so we're getting to know his character traits a lot more right away. That there's no real rhyme or reason. Yeah. But I feel like he would have been able to do something else rather than throw his computer out, pretty much, if it was just that he saw. You know what I mean? Or it was something orchestrated that Tyrell knew that once he hacked, maybe Tyrell made the video, and once Elliot hacked Tyrell, it would send the video so that it would look like it's coming from Elliot.
Possibly. It's all.
I know.
It's all unreliable.
Making you think.
So it's all unreliable information. That's why I think you can go everywhere with it.
But as we know from an unreliable narrator, Mr. Robot is a separate person, according to
he's a separate entity. Yeah. We don't know if he's a real person yet, but he is not F Society by himself fully.
Yeah.
And we do see Darlene. The one thing that stuck out for me was we do see Darlene know about Mr. Robot.
Yes.
She says something to... is he hearing that too? Is that the look you're giving me, JC?
I'm still not buying it. I'm sorry.
You're not buying that anyone else knows that Mr. Robot... I don't know either. But she does say something where she says when he leaves, like, we're going to do this with or without you. Like, we're going to do this with or without you.
Someone else...
That's directed towards Elliot. Because Mr. Robot's standing in front of Elliot.
No, but at that point in time, they didn't tell him the plan. They didn't. They
told him the plan, and then he left.
No, it was Mr. Robot and Elliot, correct me if I'm wrong, talking about the plan. No one else seeming like they could hear them talking about the plan, and then he left. And once he left, he interacted with Darlene that said, we're going to do this with or without you. So Darlene knew of the plan.
Or it could just be F Society.
Knew,
she could have just meant F Society.
Yeah.
Just what they had been doing.
That could be super, I guess that could work too.
But my whole thing is they're there having, Elliot and Mr. Robot are there having the conversation with each other. Like, no one at any point looked over and said, okay, this dude is talking to himself. Like, maybe he's off his rocker. Like, maybe we should bring it to your attention. Like, hey, who are you talking to? Because even the Indian woman, she looks over, he makes a comment and a gesture to her, and she looks over and sort of acknowledges it, but she doesn't look weird about it. So that's what kind of makes me on the fence about whether or not he's real or not. Because no one's brought it up. He's had too many conversations around other people. I think that people would have said, hey, you're talking to yourself. Are you okay?
Unreliable narrator, these things can all be explained.
It could be that there hasn't been a back and forth. There's been just Mr. Robot talking. They both haven't been talking back and forth in front of anyone else to see whether or not it's been acknowledged or not.
Well, when he said he was going to leave and about the
but
ones
they were
and the
like
zeros.
back in the corner.
Although tonight Mr. Robot did speak directly to Darlene, we're just not sure. We're just not sure if that was actually Elliot.
I mean, it looked like she was looking through him.
Yeah, that's the whole.
It could go either way.
I'm going by the physical reaction. Eye lines, just from last week to this week. I'm slightly frustrated, but this is part of the whole scope of the show. Is like I want to know cues. I want to know what is. I just want to know now. I just want to know what's wrong with that.
They want to drop a bombshell on us in episode 9 that makes us watch the whole series 3 more times
over again. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm okay with that. I'll watch
too.
it.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. I think they're kind of trolling us. I think Mr. Robot does exist, but they're having him for the first 3 or 4 episodes in a way that we're never sure.
Right.
That we can never possibly be sure. Mr. Robot's plan is to take down the Comet pipeline.
Yes, the gas company.
Which is running straight through Steel Mountain, which is where all of the companies have their offline data. And they're going to do that with the help of the Dark Army, who are Chinese international hacking collective that hack for anyone, hack for North Korea, hack for anyone who will pay.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think that was a huge thing that we learned, and that's kind of scary to know exists. How Elliot put it, they have no code. You know what I mean? Like, there's no you have friend code. You don't date the same person or whatever. Like, they have no code. Whoever will pay them, they'll do something. So they have to know. You would think they have to know information about so many different things, and they can just use it right against each other. Like, you're going to be paying for something that someone else is directly paying for the opposite, and makes their job easy because they just will do anything, which is very, very scary.
Yeah,
they're the malicious. When you have a malicious virus and whatnot, they are in just human form.
Agreed. And
like in a group.
And Elliot decides to walk away from this whole plan because innocent people may get killed. And we can table the is Mr. Robot real debate. But when he comes back, they talk about his father. And his father had leukemia, got it from an employer of some type, and then decided to just do nothing. And then that gets into the whole theme of the episode, of just zeros and ones, the doers and the not doers.
Well, do you think he got leukemia from them?
That's what he was claiming.
That's what they've inferred in both episodes.
Or do you think that it was something else, and the father just said it was leukemia to cover Evil Corp's butt, but maybe he was exposed to something some way, shape, form. That's why he didn't want Elliot to say anything, because then someone would be like, why are you not going to treatment for leukemia or something? I don't know. I feel like that was very vague, and vague on purpose.
I just think that's interesting that Elliot is now working at the same place that his dad was working at, and obviously there's a really bad history there, and he doesn't really bring up any discussion about hacking Evil Corp to find out exactly what happened. Even Elliot himself seems a little vague on.
He's not
really
working for Evil Corp because he's working for Allstate, which indirectly is working for Evil Corp.
Yeah.
Which also leads me to believe that if Elliot's father was the head guy at Evil Corp knows inside and out everything about Elliot, so he was targeted way before. I would even put it out there that they went to Allsafe because of Elliot, not Elliot happened to, from Allsafe, be now connected to Evil Corp. Again, I think there's a way bigger plan.
There's a huge orchestration on behalf of Evil Corp.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think Mr. Robot might be flying under the radar. They might not be. We're gonna differ. But we do have to give a shout out to the F Society video. And how it mirrors a lot of the videos you'll see from Anonymous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing about Anonymous is that there's no, like, Anonymous is a collective of people who kind of get together for a general purpose. So when I hear like, oh, Anonymous did this or Anonymous did that, I'm always like, well, you mean just a bunch of people on an IRC got together and decided to do that and call themselves Anonymous. But one of at least a couple of those people have supported this show and said this show is a great show.
Yeah, that's a good validation, I think.
Yeah.
Because I would be scared if they didn't like it.
But going back to something you had mentioned last week about, you're surprised that something like this hasn't already happened with people trying to hack into these big corporations and do something like this. Do you think that this might spark a movement, or it might spark something that, might make people feel like they should take more control over their lives and sort of follow a lot of the themes that are going on in this show?
I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so.
What does it look like, though?
Scary as all shit.
Not really. Because change actually happens incrementally. That the fact that I would assume most people who watch USA might not understand the idea of an invisible hand and capitalism, and that they're getting introduced to it slowly but surely, that they're going to just make smaller changes and pay more attention.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're saying is, though, what if the smartest hackers of the world are like, holy shit, I can be doing this for the good and changing the world, and one actually did it? I think it's
that's what most hackers. Like, most hackers are what are called white hat hackers, who do similar to what Elliot does, where they just get hired by a security company to go onto a website and see if they could crack it, and then do side projects like this to just kind of help people or lock bad people away, or.
Right. Yeah. But I think to what you were saying, I believe that, I don't know, I kind of hope you get those one or two rogue techies that kind of do something. I mean, nothing that would not blow something up, but exposing stuff and giving the public more information to make better choices, I think would be really interesting and scary in the sense that people might lose sense of what the reality of their world is.
Yeah. But either way, I feel like it's a really, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I feel like it's a really great movement. Like, this doesn't feel like it's just a USA show. It really does feel like it's a part of a movement with everything that they've been doing to promote the show, with them giving away the money, even going onto the website. I mean, it's like booting up a computer, and you have to actually type in which menu option you want to go to, and it's all about just sort of exposing and just bringing up like common themes and things that have been happening in the news and media. So I like that that's the feel of it. Like, they really want people to
Would this
be
have
a part
any
of it.
type of tie-in to, let's say, like Edward Snowden, Bradley Manning, those type of situations? Just people, we've been exposed that not everything out there that we see is real, it's true, and I think it's the perfect timing for the show. But I wanted to bring up a fan that just said, Patrick Wasoba said he snorted more than he should have. So given he did that, I mean, everything that happened in the episode was even less
more
reliable.
Questionable.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely. This paranoia
will destroy you.
Will destroy.
I love that term. I'm sorry. I know.
No. This would be a good time to talk about iTunes, actually. Bring the fact that we love everyone's feedback, and we love that people are subscribing. And I actually even took a look at our iTunes top 20, and we were top 20 in all of TV and film.
Thank you.
All podcasts. Thank you, fans, for watching and subscribing and giving us the wonderful stars you did. So please send us 5 stars. We really appreciate it. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you'd like us to possibly reach out to, and we'll do our best to bring them in for a later show.
Go ahead and reach out to them without just tag us on the tweet. If any of you are white and or black hat hackers and just could hack their email and schedule them here for us, that's all right. That's not I'm not condoning that.
Wow.
The opinions expressed by Steve Kaufmann do not necessarily reflect those of AFTERBUZZ or its subsidiaries. Thank you.
That was great.
Or the other co-host.
Do that again,
we're
but
legally
faster.
Clear. Legally clear. We're good now.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the whole drug issue, like with Elliot, I felt like that is something that might, it's a little bit of foreshadowing. Now that he's kind of gone cold turkey now, I feel like that might be an interesting development. He's definitely destructive when he's on the drugs.
Can I ask a question? If he's quite a hacker and whatnot, and I forget the name of the drug is Suboxone, I believe.
Suboxone.
Yeah.
Suboxone.
Well, that's the one that brings him withdrawal drug because he takes morphine.
Okay, why couldn't he just go on the Silk Road and get it there if he's so dialed in?
Well, he was but he was explaining kind of.
It's a lot more difficult. I think it's a lot more work to do.
Once again, he's an unreliable narrator, but the narrator said it's impossible.
Yeah,
it's impossible for him to get Suboxone from anyone else. I'll just take him on that word. You're right. Oh, let's take something like the Silk Road or the Dark Net, or. Yeah. But then he's got to get it shipped to his house. He doesn't trust those people.
Yeah, it's easier.
I don't know how rare Suboxone is. It might be really rare. Only because morphine addiction is such a problem, and what might be tied up in the same stuff.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like with the drug thing too, it's very, very telling that he was better and now he's worse again. So something, he's been here before.
I think it makes it hard to talk about the show still so early on because there's so much more to Elliot that we are not getting.
That's awesome. That's why we speculate. Because we can be wrong.
Last week, we failed to touch upon when he went to see the therapist, and he was forced to go to therapy. Why?
Right. Yeah. He could maybe have a charge. That's what to me. Some sort of charge. Yeah,
that's the stuff I want to find out. There's just so much.
Or is there a mother still in his
maybe he
life?
was in rehab or something, and you have to go through rehab therapy.
Any of those things.
Yeah.
But he pretty much unravels at a certain point in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, he loses it a little bit.
Right around the time he meets Fernando, Vera. Which you found something interesting about Vera's last name.
I did. Well, I felt like they kind of put the breadcrumbs out for us, and they said Vera was asking Elliot what his name meant, and Elliot was like, I don't know. He's like, you've never Googled your own name. So I Googled Vera, and a couple definitions came up, but it said a beautiful, and it's spelt like that, like B-E-U-T-I. So I don't know if it's just it's the Urban Dictionary.
I knew you were going to Urban Dictionary.
Sweet, loving, because I went everywhere else and they didn't give me much. Sweet, loving, perfect chick who rocks my socks off and other various articles of clothing. Vera is perfect. And after I read this, it made me think, was he real?
He got arrested, though.
He was real, but I think that a lot of the parts of their conversation were fake.
We're projecting.
I've never sat down and have a conversation with a drug dealer, so I don't know if they'd say, but the
They're
way that he spoke, and he seemed like almost very intelligent, analytical. I mean, like I said, I'm not judging any drug dealers out there, but
intelligent, but they are. I feel like in a sense,
poetic.
junkies are very. I know this is going to sound terrible, but they're intelligent in a way because they're always on their toes. They're always thinking. They always have an excuse. They always have some sort of plan until they don't. But still, there is some there's thought that goes into the reasoning. There's logic in there. Right. There's logic behind there.
Lindsay Alford in our chat has a spoiler for us that according to his bio.
No, let's not have spoilers.
But it's something that's already out there for us, though.
Okay.
According to his bio, he was arrested for a financial hack he did and was ordered to go to therapy.
Okay, so we were right. It's not that much of a spoiler. Yeah. Thank you.
Fernando did mention something that Elliot reminded him as an younger version of himself. And so I'm trying to figure it out.
Can you read that again? What is it? A
financial hack, and he was ordered to go to therapy because of it.
So it just gives us financial hack. That's it.
Yeah.
Because it's still comes like money has played a very important role so far. So that's interesting.
I'm sure
we'll find out more.
I'm sure as he unravels throughout the series, we're going to see that like he's gone through this rabbit hole before and has tried to take down companies before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone could be
But you know what was very interesting too? For me, this is the first. Well, I mean, it's only episode 2. I get that, but we actually see Elliot's morals. We see that Last week we see that he doesn't care about Shayla at all. Really, she's just there for the drugs, for the sex. This week we see that he chooses her over drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think that's big.
And morality of Fernando can't live. Fernando can't be on this earth unpunished.
Which, again, I know that everyone might disagree with me, but that's very Dexter-like, what he did with Shayla.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that this is anything but the gist of very similar. But yeah, it was in that sort of sense. And I thought that, for me, that was very shocking that he chose her over the drugs. So...
I don't. I actually, because he was displaying that like you said, we last week and then this week, he has a line. He has
right, but he needs his drugs because he cries in the corner. Like, for someone to be that. So is he really that addicted to drugs, or is he having flashes back to when he was that addicted to drugs? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's that addicted.
But if he's that addicted, if you're that addicted to morphines and stuff, you can't just be like, all right, sweet, I'm done because I gotta turn my dealer in.
But it wasn't a quick decision. You know, it did take him some time to actually make the decision to turn him in. And I think that him seeing her...
as soon as... Wasn't it... Maybe I'm
after he got raped. Well, after she got raped.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once that happened...
But before that...
Oh, the first time
the first time he was like, well, I can't, because,
Right.
He's the only supplier, so...
Well, and he didn't cross the line.
Yeah.
He crossed the line. This character has a very clear moral... This character has a very clear moral compass.
But in the same sense, he crossed the line, but a week ago, Elliot crossed the line and had sex with her because he was high. I mean, granted, it probably wasn't rape or something to that nature, but still, it's a blurry line.
The line's real clear.
That just adds to his complexity, in a sense.
I think it adds.
You can't rape somebody. You can't run a website with little kids, which I love. The more I think about it, Plato'sKids.com, which I'm sure NBC Universal has to own now. But Plato is the philosopher who felt that we were all in a cave looking at, like, essentially we were all in the Matrix. Like, that was the earliest idea of what we now...
I did not know that.
Yeah, Plato is the guy who thought we were in a cave looking at shadows, and that we thought it was reality. So to have it be Plato's Kids, that was a bit of a... It was a bit of a thinker.
Love that.
It was a bit of a way Homer. I got there.
Got it.
A week later.
Very
Good
well
job.
said.
But I think his moral line is pretty clear that if you cross it, if you're hurting kids, if you're raping women, and he can stop you, he will.
And that's what gives you, ultimately, what makes you want to root for him.
Yes.
That moral, that line.
Right.
Throughout his pain, he still knows
Which is, again, though, we're tap dancing over the line. We're giving the line to a guy who's breaking the law, doing a bunch of drugs, and sleeping with random people, which is amazing. No, it's amazing that he's that powerful of a character that still even we're like, but he knows the line, and once someone else crosses it, they're done.
And he's making us question that line.
Right.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yes, it's something we need to do.
Yeah.
Also, I have 48 followers, and some of them are tastemakers.
Amazing. Why is that guy? Why is it okay that he's cheating on his friend? Why has that not been a line that's crossed yet?
He said that last week.
He said that,
And he covered that last week.
That he'd rather the devil he knows.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot. Totally.
Because there are worse guys out there.
Right. Okay. They did explain that. Fair enough.
And then he was torn about it, but it was
yeah. That's eventually going to happen.
Well, also he's being so dumb about it. He's gonna get caught.
Which, on that note, why was the Dark Army watching Angela?
My guess is that this is at behest of Mr. Robot. Within the narrative we're being told from an unreliable narrator.
Correct.
Mr. Robot, in order to re-recruit and keep tabs on Elliot, enlisted the Dark Army.
Unless Angela's working with Tyrell, because that's how they started working at
Tyrell.
Allsafe. And she's in the know. That's why she was so mad that she got kicked out of the meeting, because she needed the meeting to go a certain direction.
Or Tyrell, upon Evil Corp, took the Dark Army so he can try to take Elliot back. There are essentially two factions.
She's an important character. Even though I don't think we're seeing a lot of her, I think she's going to be like a pinnacle character. Yeah. She's going to be important somehow. Because, again, we do see, they're giving us breadcrumbs, we do see, he really actually cares about Angela. So we see what he does when a moral is crossed against someone like Shayla, who is a drug dealer. Now, if someone uses Angela as a bargaining chip, what would Elliot then be forced to do?
Yeah.
I was going to add to the fact that Elliot seems to show over-responsibility at times. And he did this with Angela last week, when he was just trying to help her out, and she did not want that help. And he did it again this week, and because I wrote it down in my blasted
With
notes.
Shayla, you mean? With the drug dealer?
He did what? What are you talking about?
Like when going back to last week, but he had another example of it this week, where people can get out of their own jams, and he steps in and he's doing what he believes is right, and he's standing up for the friend, and he did it again tonight. And
with Shayla and
was it
Fernando?
Shayla when she was at the car?
When she
with
was
Vera?
in the tub, and he finds her in the tub.
I believe so.
That has to be. Yeah, that has to be.
That has to be it. That was kind of the only thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe he got rid of the dog. He gave his dog to Shayla.
You should leave the dog to Shayla. He's not ready for a dog.
He's not ready.
He can't take care of it, but it's just very.
It was a cute dog.
Shats on the bed.
Flipper.
Oh, Flipper.
Some do.
Let's pour some out for Flipper.
Yeah. He stood my Flipper.
What have we missed? We've missed Amanda. No, I came up with a random name there.
Yeah,
Amanda.
I'm like, who's Amanda? Darlene? Is that what you're talking about?
No, his friend from school.
Angela.
Angela, thank you.
Yeah.
It started with an A.
Close.
That was right there.
Same
and then
amount of
her
letters,
boyfriend, they had a Groupon for Morton Steakhouse.
Oh yeah, and he said yes.
He said yes because he wanted to walk away.
Yeah.
Because he's just paranoid.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said yes and then never thought a second of it. And a rapper is handing out a CD for free. You just have to give him 10 likes on Facebook.
See, I don't trust anyone now because I'm thinking that disc you put in your computer to listen to and it corrupts, it steals all your computer
You put
stuff.
it in your car first.
Oh,
See if it plays.
But it didn't
Well,
work.
but everyone in New York, people who don't drive cars
Fair
like
enough.
that. I don't think that's a. I mean,
You don't take the guy's CD just because that's not a viable marketing method.
Well, and because it's
Put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's old, number one, but there has to be. I feel like that was just too random to mean nothing.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I agree. I feel like
Okay.
That was-
they put too much focus and attention on it for it not to come back
He was
later.
it was very clearly going to come back.
Yeah.
But how do you do that? Like, how do you? Like, I guess you just plant a rapper on the street to give someone a CD.
Yeah.
But that happens all the time
Yeah,
on the
that does.
street.
Yeah. And he said that he had been there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and he kept seeing him.
Yeah, like,
so
I've
he
seen
was
you here for
familiar
like
with
2
them.
weeks. So like he was literally like that was his mark, and it took him 2 weeks to finally get his mark.
I finally remembered why I brought up the over responsibility thing.
Oh, love it. Go, let's
Let's
go.
do it.
It was with the dad when he told his mother that
Yes.
dad had leukemia, and that was supposed to be a secret. He betrayed trust, and he betrayed Angela's trust last week as well by doing what he thought was right. And I think that it's interesting that he, just the fact that they show us that twice, nothing is there for no reasons. There's a reason why. So I'm just connecting those two. Just the way the show's written, everything has a purpose and a reason, and I think those come into play, where he has to decide, like this week, ones and zeros and whatnot, but just something there. Twice he's fouled up by doing too much.
That you have to be a doer or a not doer, and he's finding the area of gray, and he's deciding like he either has to figure out if it's actually like if the gray is something he made up.
Yeah.
Because somewhere in his mind, if we're all assuming Mr. Robot is him, somewhere in his mind he feels that they're just people who take action or don't take action, and everything else is just a manifestation.
See, I think
And an
Mr.
excuse
Robot
you're
is his father.
I saw that connection too.
I think it's his father, and I think that no one pushed him off. He jumped off, and he was maybe trying to kill himself. And I think because the thing that got me is because he freaks out when anyone touches him, and Mr. Robot was like caressing his back. And I know that word's weird. I don't know why that one came out, but you know what I mean. Like he's literally rubbing his back, and he does nothing. And he was saying how his father threw him out the window, and he broke his wrist. It was the same exact. For me, it's super duper clear that that's what he's doing, and this is all a revenge plot for his father. Could be totally wrong. It's just what resonating for me.
Did you see that chat comment by James Wilson? The whole point of the CD was that the CDs would hack the computer and let them access the webcam.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was.
You were trying to find your.
But that means they actually had to send a person in real life to stand on a street corner to give this one person a CD that'll hack their.
Yeah.
Right, which in this day and age, when this takes place, it's just, is it saying that because the boyfriend took it, that he's that dumb and that he listens to the CDs still? So he's maybe, oh my God, here I go, planted to work there for some other reason too, because he's clearly not tech savvy?
No, I think the rapper was planted there to give him a CD because they knew that would be the easiest way to get to his laptop.
But so many people, that's what I'm saying, tech-savvy people, how we had the reference last week, tech-savvy people would not be wearing a BlackBerry. Tech-savvy people would not take a CD. Like, where can I download this? So I feel like somehow that's showing the character of the boyfriend.
Wait, bro, you have a Facebook page? Your music is on the Facebook page, right?
But something like that, yeah.
Mr. Wilson, James also said right now that the same guy that gave the CD was the guy looking at the computer.
That's why he looked so familiar.
There we go.
He's the dark guy. Who said that?
Thank you, James Wilson.
James, love you.
His face was shrouded, but you're right. That makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. But he's also the hacker that's doing it.
Well, because he gave him the CD, and then he put it in his computer, and then now he sees her.
Yeah.
So that makes 100% sense. So, but again, so that means that they are watching her. She's so going to be an important piece. She's going to be a bargaining chip, for sure.
But which side?
What do you think, James?
Evil Corp or Mr. Robot?
Well, I think they're one and the same.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going with this theory that Tyrell he's in on it, and he's working probably with F Society.
I feel like F Society is trying to take down Evil Corp and that they're two different things. It's just that... And I've been reading a lot of people on Twitter that are saying all of F Society doesn't exist.
Well, but maybe F Society is trying to take down Evil Corp, but then Tyrell is part of F Society within Evil Corp to get into stuff. I feel like Tyrell somehow, from the beginning, he gave me chills. There's something else.
But what do you think he would have a conversation with Elliot about that? Like,
not yet.
Hey.
Nope. He's leaving trails, and he knows that Elliot's on the fence, but he can't blow him out of the water yet because he's like too confused.
I think Tyrell is power hungry. I think he sees a really great opportunity to be at the head of this huge... I mean, yeah, whether or not he is actually a part of F Society or a part of something else that's trying to bring down Evil Corp, that's arguable, but I personally feel like he is sort of the anti-Elliot, and that he is obsessed with power, and he wants that power, and I think he realizes how valuable Elliot is, and he just wants to make sure that he has all of his chips in place.
He's a stark contrast to Mr. Robot. And one of our commenters said this last week, who is pretty much anarchy.
Yeah.
And that would be like a super Elliot. And then this is the counterpoint. And I feel like Fernando falls somewhere in there as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these characters are just part of
the spectrum.
Like a spectrum of Elliot's psyche.
Because there's a lot of mention of, you remind me so much of me when I was younger. There's a lot of correlation between Elliot and these other characters. So it almost leads you to believe, like, are these really manifestations of Elliot's imagination? Or are these real people?
Or F Society, after they took down Evil Corp, invented a time machine. And Elliot and Mr. Robot is actually just Elliot who took that time machine from the future back to the past to ensure that F Society... I'm kidding, everyone. I'm making this up. This is not...
Marty, there's something else, though. Like, there's something else here. Like, there's a twist. Like, Elliot's maybe Tyrell... or something, because the dad got him working there when he was young, and now he's risen to the top. The CTO, his dad was the best person, so now he feels bad. Like there's some other
within the Tyler Durden theory. Elliot's all these people. Mm-hmm. That he's created. He's Tyrell. He's Elliot. He's Mr. Robot. He's.
What if none of them are real, and it's just we are the unreliable narrator, and we are Hello Friend. We are the voice.
There's that. That we're just reading something.
Yeah.
And then we get a St. Elsewhere ending.
I love this show!
But that means we get a St. Elsewhere ending at the end, and I'm not going to be a fan. Where we're reading it in an IRC, and we're like, what?
Yeah. It might be.
I hope we don't get that deep.
Yeah.
I hope we don't get that deep. Because I think, although if this show continues at its pace, and like, let's say this show, in this purely hypothetical, just like the time travel, in the purely hypothetical, this show goes 2 or 3 seasons, and then at the end it's a St. Elsewhere where it's all an unreliable story told to us through multiple perspectives.
You're close, because Sam Esmail said that he's going to make it 4 to 5 seasons.
Okay.
And looking at some of his other work, he did a movie called Comet.
Yeah.
And it's about parallel universes and falling in love. So he loves playing with that.
That would be the most brilliant and most effective thing ever, though, because if at the end he... it's like you can only learn so much from seeing it happen to other people, but if he really tricks all of us till the end,
How would we feel about that? How would fans
I would feel freaking awesome. that I was that invested. I mean, like, got it. Like, there's egos that would make us be like, oh, we got fooled. But that would be the most brilliant thing.
Yeah. I think. It's making you think, for sure, which probably is the point.
I wonder what fans would think about that.
Please.
Tell us.
Yes.
Let us know what you think.
Let us know how you would feel if this were a St. Elsewhere situation. Which I don't think it's that deep. I think at one point there's wool on our eye. Like, there's a lot of wool on our eyes right now, and they're just gonna get pulled off sometime by the end of the season.
I think you got the right call, episode 9 or 10. Yeah,
like episode 9 or 10 of, oh wait, he's 3 of these people, or F Society doesn't exist and it's all him, and he's just. And it actually reminds me of The Fifth Estate, the Julian Assange movie, where Benedict Cumberbatch plays Julian Assange and a guy he brought on to help him. And the guy he brought on to help him, throughout the course of the film, I'm not spoiling much, but he does realize that most of the people he interacted with within WikiLeaks were all Julian Assange. Like, Julian Assange just, like he was emailing with someone back and forth for, like, ever, thinking it was a different person and it was Julian Assange. That, like, most of WikiLeaks was Julian Assange. So there might just be that level of secrecy that F Society may only be Elliot. I feel like we're into predictions already.
Yeah.
I think... There we go.
Thank you for the music. Thank you, James.
What we didn't do is we didn't look up Elliot.
What his name means.
What, Elliot Alderson?
Elliot or Alderson. We'll have some.
Give us. We'll come back with
name syntax next week.
Oh man.
What are we expecting next week?
What did we see on the preview for next week?
Do you guys remember?
Him being in the hospital, going down,
because he
slippery slope.
jumps off the ledge.
I think he jumps.
Or he's pushed.
Or he's pushed.
Just like
or he jumps. I mean, if Mr. Robot doesn't exist, yeah.
Did he jump or was he pushed? There's our one of our predictions. I say he jumped.
I say he jumped too because there was no acknowledgement at all of the touch on him.
The narrative we're being told is that he was pushed.
Yeah.
It's unreliable. And I think we're going to say that a lot this
right, that's going to be the after show. We're going to have the unreliable counter right here.
But he was pushed.
Yeah.
But now he's not going to tell anyone he was pushed. We see his therapist in the room with him trying to help. Sadly, he's going to get morphine in that hospital.
Yeah.
It looked like he was bad enough that they're going to give him morphine and he's going to get back on drugs.
Yeah.
And he's not going to stop cold turkey.
So was that on purpose?
And we didn't talk about the fact that the conversation real quick about the conversation he had with Mr. Robot, explaining what he did to his dad, and then Mr. Robot taking a sharp turn, which I haven't heard him that direct in his voice. Do you think your father was right? Which is again what made me feel like he was his father, being like, do you think he was right? Do you think he was right what he did? He was very aggressive in that, and I haven't seen up until then it was everything's a choice, and now it's like, what do you think it was right? And then he falls off. I feel like there's something that's heavy.
And it was too coincidental too that Elliot's dad pushed him out of a window. I mean, even though he's not falling out of a window, it's still somebody pushing him and him falling.
Yeah.
So,
but we also do see there is a shot of how high it is, and it doesn't look that it's that high.
But it's rocks.
Yeah. It looked like a rough fall, but you're right. It did not look. Yeah. It looked no more than 4 feet, 5 feet.
Yeah, it doesn't look life or death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what Ashley and I kind of just looked at each other and saying that, James Wilson kind of agrees. He says, I think him jumping was a way for him to get the drugs now that his dealer is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although, but that's his, the part of his mind that's actually running the whole show. But the part of his mind that we're seeing and talking to, he was pushed by Mr. Robot.
Right. Well, it depends on how you look at it, really.
Yeah.
That's not really clear. But I feel like in that, the drugs that he can get from the hospital, the morphine, he can still get that from Shayla. I feel like it was the other drug that I don't know that the hospital will give him unless he tells them that he's detoxing. That was hard to get. So I don't know if James Wilson, I love you, but that one I would tend to.
We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to have to see about that.
I mean, he has access to medicines now. I mean, he's a hacker, so him being in there, I mean, it could be a situation where he just stocks up on a whole bunch.
But I feel like they would send someone to rehab for that, not a hospital. Like, they don't give you detox. They don't just do... Maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that they wouldn't just give you... They don't keep you in the hospital detox. They send you somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they wouldn't give him the detox medicine, but
that's the one he can't get to.
Yeah,
but that's the one he's not able to
morphine,
get.
He can't get Suboxone.
Yeah, and morphine's what they'll give him. They'll give anyone in the hospital.
I'm sure he has a way I'm sure this is all a part of him getting Suboxone in the hospital. He might, like, to a point where he might just literally hack the hospital,
get it.
Or like go even lo-fi and steal an actual prescription pad from a doctor, because he mentioned he needs paper slips to get Suboxone.
That's true.
And this obviously this isn't the sole reason, but that's one of the things I'm predicting he's going to do in the hospital.
Get the scripts. No, that makes sense. That makes sense that it's going to lead to it. Right.
Because the drug problem isn't going to stop.
No, I wonder who's going to find him.
Episode 2.
Who finds him? Because there was no one there anymore. You see the scene of the skaters, but by the time he falls and when it pans out, there's no one there.
Someone eventually finds him.
Yeah.
Right, but that's going to be interesting to see who and when and how that is.
Yeah. Also, I think I'm going to predict the Dark Army was co-opted by Tyrell, not Mr. Robot. That's my bold prediction. Because Tyrell wanted to get leverage. Because Tyrell, better than Mr. Robot, knows where his soft targets are and how to get leverage, and that's how he got leverage.
Yeah, I think that Tyrell is way in deep.
Yeah.
Another great episode.
Sweet.
So terrific.
So please join us next week.
Yes.
But before then, if you're listening to our voice and you just have pressing details, including the time travel thing I just talked about, where can the people find you on the Twitter to talk to you about it? Starting with Steph.
You guys can find me at IAMSTEFZ. Thank you guys. Thanks, James Wilson, for your input, too.
Yes. Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Thank you. It was great.
There are at least 34 of you.
Yeah.
I have 49 followers now, hopefully, when I look on my Twitter page.
I just followed you.
Thank you. Yes, you're my 49. You guys can find me on Twitter at Ashley_Chapman and the Ashley Chapman on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice. And you can follow me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope.
And you guys can find me at Steve Kaufmann. That's KAUFMANN. If any of you are wrestling fans, you can join me this Sunday night. We'll be covering The Beast Visits the East. WWE live from Tokyo. It'll be a good time. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.